Love and work. Work and love, that's all there is. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. The goal of all life is death. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. A civilization which leaves so large a number of its participants unsatisfied and drives them into revolt neither has nor deserves the prospect of a lasting existence. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. If youth knew, if age could. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is, what does a woman want? I have found little that is good about human beings on the whole. In my experience, most of them are trash, no matter whether they publicly subscribe to this or that ethical doctrine or to none at all. That is something that you cannot say aloud, or perhaps even think. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. If a man has been his mother's undisputed darling, he retains throughout life the triumphant feeling, the confidence in success, which not seldom brings actual success along with it. Neurosis is the inability to tolerate ambiguity. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. The conscious mind may be compared to a fountain playing in the sun and falling back into the great subterranean pool of subconscious from which it rises. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions nor conflicts. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the affect of anxiety. One is very crazy when in love. What a distressing contrast there is between the radiant intelligence of the child and the feeble mentality of the average adult. What we call happiness in the strictest sense comes from the preferably sudden satisfaction of needs which have been dammed up to a high degree. Every normal person, in fact, is only normal on the average. His ego approximates to that of the psychotic in some part or other and to a greater or lesser extent. The tendency to aggression is an innate, independent, instinctual disposition in man. It constitutes the powerful obstacle to culture. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. The psychoanalysis of neurotics has taught us to recognize the intimate connection between wetting the bed and the character trait of ambition. Men are strong so long as they represent a strong idea. They become powerless when they oppose it. Anatomy is destiny. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. Illusions commend themselves to us because they save us pain and allow us to enjoy pleasure instead. We must therefore accept it without complaint when they sometimes collide with a bit of reality against which they are dashed to pieces. Man has, as it were, become a kind of prosthetic god. When he puts on all his auxiliary organs, he is truly magnificent, but those organs have not grown on him, and they still give him much trouble at times. The goal towards which the pleasure principle impels us, of becoming happy, is not attainable, yet we may not, nay, cannot, give up the efforts to come nearer to realization of it by some means or other. Obviously, one must hold oneself responsible for the evil impulses of one's dreams. In what other way can one deal with them? Unless the content of the dream rightly understood as inspired by alien spirits, it is part of my own being. Just as a cautious businessman avoids investing all his capital in one concern, so wisdom would probably admonish us also not to anticipate all our happiness from one quarter alone. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and keep my